Hi, my name is Matteo and this is Create Belonging. Today happens to be my birthday, and so I thought today is a very special day where I get to talk to you directly, and I thought that we can start with talking about the topic of belonging because over the last few months and weeks and in very many conversations I've been having, very often I get the question, what is belonging? Because it seems to me that many people are using the word belonging and they use it in different contexts and to mean sometimes very different things. First and foremost, belonging is a feeling. That means that we feel it ourselves and we cannot feel belonging for others. We could only guess and estimate how others are feeling and if they feel like they belong. And just like feelings are incredibly influenced by both the external and internal world. Because of the nature of how it is expressed and our culture and so on, we tend to attribute belonging to a place, a community, a set of behaviors and culture and folklore where we identify ourselves. While that may be true, that is not exactly belonging. So before I get into what belonging is, I wanted to first talk about what belonging isn't. Belonging, as Brené Brown says, belonging is not fitting in. In fact, fitting in requires us to give up a part of ourselves in order to fit the expectations of that group. Whereas belonging, especially what's called true belonging, requires us to bring our whole self into being. And the moment we are not bringing our whole selves, that experience cannot be one of belonging. And so, as we said, belonging is a feeling. That means that we are the primary responsible for understanding our belonging and for recognizing when belonging is there. One of my mentors, when it comes to the idea of belonging, is Sabine Selassie. And she likes to say that belonging is a fact, meaning that belonging is always there. You are always in belonging. The feeling of not belonging is actually like temporarily forgetting the fact that we belong. And it is our responsibility and within our power to reconnect with our sense of belonging. That's what we're going to be talking about in future videos. For now, it's important to understand that belonging is a personal feeling. And because it's a personal feeling, I cannot tell somebody to belong. And in the same vein, somebody cannot tell you that you don't belong. I think one of the mistakes that many of us commit, in fact, I was guilty of this, is that we pay attention too much to external factors. We attribute our sense of belonging to external things, to things that our culture is telling us, to things that the people around us are telling us. And the moment that we start outsourcing our belonging to those external things, we're setting ourselves up potentially for not belonging. Let me explain. So if you believe that belonging is about speaking the same language or sharing a similar culture, what does that mean when you go abroad? What does it mean when you're forced to leave your country? Or that you have to start over your life in a country where you don't necessarily share the same culture or the language, or even you don't look like the majority of the people out there. Does that mean that you don't belong? Of course, you know where I'm going with this. That we cannot base our sense of belonging on external factors. Rather, it is our responsibility to find the tools, find the people around us, and find the methods of reconnecting with our belonging. Okay, that is a lot to take in. I know that I could probably talk about this topic for hours. In fact, I started a podcast called Create Belonging because there are so many dimensions and so many facets to belonging. And of course, I don't have all the answers. I don't know everything there is to know about belonging. However, in my podcast and in my exploration, I intend to find just that. I hope you can join me on the Create Belonging podcast, where apart from the old archived episodes and many amazing interviews, I will be launching a series of short episodes where, just like today, I will talk about different aspects of belonging to help us clarify and understand this very important, fundamental aspect of the human condition. I believe that if each one of us has a closer relationship to our sense of belonging, we can not only find our own belonging, but we could help others find theirs. And I couldn't hope of something more special than a world where everybody feels like they belong. Thank you so much. This has been amazing, and I hope to speak to you soon. Bye.